DonInLondon, hello, it's August 19th. I'm going to check that. Yeah, August 19th, 2009, hello. And my video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My substance addiction, for 35 years, probably. Don't know how long, but certainly depending on it some of the time, was alcohol. So, my behaviour, accordingly, taking the edge off, trying to be perfect, workaholic, relationshipaholic, and of course alcoholic. And recovery these days is just for one day. So whether we are addicted to substance or behaviour, or and both, as I feel I was, because if I couldn't do the alcohol, I would do the gym. If I wasn't working, I was in a relationship. All those things, cross-addicting, and always striving to be happy, and also striving for love and inclusion, I suspect. And as an eminent psychiatrist said, there are three elements to living which are important. That is, to love, be loved, and have something useful to do. And I reckon that comes down the centuries from when we first picked up a piece of wood and clonked somebody on the head and said, "Take notice of me." Take notice of me. Yeah, what a strange thing to use as an analogy. But you know, when we're not loved, we get angry and resentful. And what do human beings do with anger and resentment? They normally pick up a stick and hit somebody with it. And these days, they're explosive ones or whatever. Somehow we are excluded, and then we feel anger and resentment. And that can be as a whole community as much as an individual. So prejudice doesn't really help us very much when we're trying to make life work. And I belong to a fellowship where prejudice is, I guess, not part of the fabric of the fellowship, and that's Alcoholics Anonymous. And I paused to reflect there. Is there prejudice in AA? Well, only if people exercise their personal judgment against others. It's a fellowship of unique, authentic people, and with every imperfection you can possibly imagine. So on any particular day, going to a fellowship meeting of AA, or any fellowship meeting, you're going to find people making progress, and certainly not perfect. And on our worst days, we're tolerating each other, and on our worst days, we're in pain. And if the pain is great, and the anger and resentment is haunting us, or real, absolutely real, it can send us out drinking again. So what do? We go to meetings, we talk to people we trust, and we share, and we're included and part of something. So we have a very positive mental attitude, which is based on the 12 steps and 12 traditions. 12 steps of action for the individual, 12 traditions to hold the fellowship together. And you know, nobody speaks for the fellowship, and quite rightly, it's all the people in it are the same size, on the same level, and some have more wisdom than others, and some have more wisdom on other days than others. So we need to take heed of what's going on. Anyway, what is it? AA. I'll share here. I don't speak for it, I say as I say, and it's full of unique, authentic people that can speak for themselves wherever they choose. So I choose to speak openly that AA helps me on a daily basis, and that's just my choice. And the statement shared at the beginning of every meeting I go to, I hope, unless we forget, progress. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And where it says our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety, is not a carte blanche to override the feelings of others. It's just that we need to know what we're doing and why we're doing it. And everybody makes their own personal choices. Tradition 1 in the fellowship enshrines that one person can't tell another person what to do. So it is described as a benign anarchy, but we learn through moderation in our habits and our outlook that we need to take account of everybody's point of view. So AA, flat playing field, helps us get back to normal living. And in my case, I don't know that I ever experienced normal in my young days, and That was the chaotic life that many people have, where families are moving about and trying to do whatever is right at the time. And the key here is always to remember, even when people are working at their best, it can be awful, or they have bad behaviour because they're trying their best, and they're trying their best to make life work, and that's not easy. So what helps me keep things easy, or easier, is to live in the day. One day life plan. Don't try and adopt coping strategies which then last for decades. And of course my coping strategy with alcohol put me in the place of self-obsession, addiction, fear, and putting on a brave face so he'd leave me alone. So I could try not wake up whatever morning it was. It was always a pain waking up in those last few years, I guess. Absolute pain waking up. Preferred I wouldn't wake up at all. Anyway, what helps me daily when I can't go to a meeting in the morning? A daily reflection. And in here it's tailored 12 months to the 12 steps of AA, all about action to change attitude and behaviour. And August is all about step 8, where we make a list of people we have harmed and we just make the list, and then the willingness to do something about it. It's all about step 9, which is next month. Anyway, for August 19th it says here, frame of reference. Referring to our list, and that is the inventory, the moral inventory of our good and bad, and our anger and our resentments, putting out of our minds the wrongs others have done, we resolutely looked for our own mistakes, where we had been selfish, dishonest, self-seeking and frightened. And the reason why we do that is we're just trying to get our side of the street clean. It's not for us to try and admonish people to join in, but what we need to do is understand our own behaviour and why it all happened. There is a wonderful freedom in not needing constant approval from colleagues at work or from people I love. I wish I'd known about this step before, because once I developed a frame of reference, I felt able to do the next right thing, knowing that the action fits the situation and that it was the correct thing to do. And often we need a bit of advice or support, getting wisdom from other people. But the frame of reference is about our own personal conduct and behaviour. It's not our reaction against other people's good or bad behaviour. It's understanding what we can do to keep our side of the street clean, and that's so important. Otherwise, we sit in judgment on the world while the world is judging us on our anger and resentment, and it's a good idea not to have it, and leave people where they are. It means we have to be very clear on the choices we make on a daily basis to do what we do, and we can say no if we need to. So as Bill sees it, as many pages a day as you can stomach or get wisdom from. Page 181 is imaginary perfection. When we early AAs got our first glimmer of how spiritually prideful we could be, we coined this expression, don't try to be a saint by Thursday. The old-time admonition may look like another of those handy alibis that can excuse us from trying our best. Yet a closer view reveals just the contrary. This is our AA way of warning against pride blindness and the imaginary perfections that we do not possess. Only step 1, where we made the 100% admission that we were powerless over alcohol, can be practiced with absolute perfection. In other words, don't drink. The remaining 11 steps state perfect ideals. They are goals towards which we look, and the measuring sticks by which we estimate our progress. And it is about progress and not being perfect. So, imaginary perfection, where we can't be a saint by Thursday or Friday or Saturday or Sunday. Yeah, pride. It can get in the way of everything, and pride normally means, if it's not rooted in self-esteem, it's rooted in ego, and if it's ego-driven pride, it's not very good, because it means we're probably judging ourselves, all the rest of the world, as unsound and unhelpful. So what's good for me today? To know I'm powerless over alcohol, people, places and things, and to make choices based on truth. And sometimes the truth is not what we would wish it to be, so we have filters and denials around us all the time. So when I say the serenity prayer, it's about getting acceptance around truth. So to God or your higher power or your good conscience, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference is simply and always just for today.